What's up, everybody? Welcome to System Crafters Live. I'm David Wilson, and we're back again with another live stream where we get together as a community and talk about whatever topic I've come up with for the week. And this week it's kind of a cheat day because it's just a continuation of the last stream, but that's okay because we kind of need to finish what we started. I would like to say hello to the people who are here so far. That would be, let's see, Summer Emacs, Dave, no user here, Jeff, Redacted, that's ominous. Who else we got? Ashra's in the YouTube chat. DJ Cthulhu. Eduardo T. I don't know who else we got in Twitch side. It's a little bit more confusing. Excuse me. My voice is broke like I'm a 13-year-old, so excuse me for that. I'm getting over like 3 weeks worth of cold, and hasn't been fun, I'll tell you that. And my voice hasn't recovered entirely, so we may have some issues with that later, but that's okay. Whatever. Anyway, what was I saying? Hello to Benoit. Benoit says, there was background voice over my music. Yeah, Benoit didn't realize it started yet. Hello to Kaevsky. Ashra says that he's also in IRC and everywhere. Yes. Hello to JFred. Let's see. Ashra says the back channel from YouTube to System Crafters Live seems not to work. Does it not? It doesn't, does it? What's the deal with that? Is the Twitch stream not running, I wonder? Can someone check the Twitch stream and see if it's going? I don't know what movie Summer Emacs was playing out at the beginning or before the stream started, but that was pretty intense. Yes, Summer basically created a whole movie of what happened in the last stream, which didn't actually happen. Kind of insane little storyline there. That's cool though. Yeah, I don't know why the text isn't being replicated across. I got a feeling that it has something to do with the code that I wrote. It's not picking up on the messages. That's okay. System Crafter Cinematic Universe. Yes, that sounds about right. Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, have been dealing with viruses for the last few weeks. I don't think it was coronavirus. Pretty sure it wasn't anything like that, but it was random cold stuff. I think I probably got 2, maybe 3. I don't know. This time of year, you send your 5-year-old child to school, and they basically just go into a petri dish of all the possible virus combinations that could exist, and they bring them home and inflict them on family, which is fine because, you know, this is how everyone's immune system gets improved. A little bit more stressful whenever you have a 5-month-old also, but that's okay. She's doing good. But yeah, obviously my voice still hasn't fully recovered. I can hear it. Yes, virus in the chat. So, yeah, we didn't have a stream last week, but the week before that, we had a stream where we basically set up, or we were trying to set up well, someone told me how to pronounce this, and I forgot. Let me see. Can I pull up the other video? I'm gonna regret doing this. I got a feeling. Hold on. Let me pull it up for you so you can see it too, because we all need to see this. YouTube.com/systemcrafters. No, it's not Erbsluft. Not Erbsluft. Where is the previous stream? I've hidden it so well now that you can't find it. Is it really like that? Hold on. Oh, past live streams. Okay, there we go. Oh yes, the lovely 997 views. Apparently that wasn't a very popular topic. That's okay. Okay, so James Jones said in the comments, do people use the Esperanto pronunciation Forgejo? That's probably right, because I would guess that's an Esperanto word. A lot of Esperanto speakers in the geek community. So Forgejo Esperanto. Benoit says, do you need the VM? No, I don't think so. We'll see. Ah, yes, Forgejo. What? No, this says, they say they pronounced it Forgejo. Inspired by Forgejo, the Esperanto word for forge. Okay. Now we have our answers. It's Forgejo. But I'm still going to call it other things because I think it's funny. It's not good marketing for them, though, I guess. But I'm not being paid. Richard Davis says, J in IPA is a Y. Yes. Benoit says, Forge Joe. Yeah, like G.I. Joe, right? Forgejo, T says. Hey, Dave. All right. So, yeah, we'll talk more about what we're going to do when we get into that. First, I want to get into the news because there's a few things this week that are pretty interesting to talk about. First of all, Emacs Conf 2023 is this weekend. I actually forgot about that, but it is December 2nd and 3rd. That's Saturday and Sunday. And there's quite a number of talks going on, which you should go check out. There's a page up on emacsconf.org/2023/talks that has the times and topics for everything that's going to be discussed. Let's see. An org mode-based text adventure game. That sounds pretty interesting. Let's see. What else we got here? Enhancing productivity with voice computing. Sure. LLM clients and Emacs functionality and standardization. I think Andrew Hyatt's been working on some of the core libraries for pulling in large language models in Emacs, which is cool. Let's see. Improving compiler diagnostics with overlays. Cool. Editor integrated REPL development for all languages. That could be useful to some folks. What else? How I play TTRPGs, tabletop RPGs in Emacs by Howard Abrams, who has made quite a number of famous presentations for Emacs stuff like eShell and I think Literate DevOps in Emacs. So good to check out Howard's talk. Let's see. Mike Hamrick, who's also a member of the community, Literate documentation with Emacs and org mode. Emacs core development, how it works. Robert Weiner, top 10 ways hyperbole amps up Emacs. If you want some more details on hyperbole that we talked about a few weeks ago, definitely check out Robert's talk because Robert is the creator. Andrew Tropin, bringing joy to scheme programming. Probably Andrew's going to talk about his work on a better REPL implementation for Scheme. Yes, it looks like the Guile Aries stuff. So that'll be pretty cool. I need to check that out. Eat and Eat powered eShell by Akib, which is cool because he's the author of Eat, and that's a pretty good little project. Let's see, what else? Modern Emacs look and feel without pain. Sweet. EMMS. I haven't really seen anybody talk about EMMS in a while, but if you want to play MP3s and videos in Emacs, there you go. This is one thing I want to take a look at. I didn't know that Protosilaus has given a joint talk about this, but Hyperdrive, peer-to-peer file system in Emacs, that could be pretty useful, actually. I'm kind of curious about that. So I'll be definitely checking that one out. Let's see, what else? Last one, eh? Oh, another hyperbole talk. Sharing Emacs is carrying Emacs, Emacs education, and why I embraced video. Video's terrible. Nobody's watching video right now, are we? All right. What am I seeing in the chat here? Yeah, I can't avoid the spammers, unfortunately. Gun says, what about my Cyberpunk RPG project? Yeah, that never really got off the ground. And now that we're probably not going to use Matrix that much, I don't think I'll be continuing with that. Gun says, why don't we all get a backtick attached? Do you all get a backtick? I don't think so, right? I think that some of you maybe have conflicts with your nicks. Dave says, Literate Docs and Org Mode talk was presented at CGL, Siegel, I guess, recently. It was pretty fun. Got a little complicated, though. Interesting. Thea Peckley, hello, says, the browser in a buffer seemed interesting, too. I missed that one. I was scanning through. Summer says, you see me. I don't know, did I? All right. So next, Hoot 0.2.0 has been released. For me, that's kind of a big deal because this is the release of Hoot, which we talked about, I don't know, a month, 2 months ago. It's a project to compile Guile scheme code to WebAssembly and run it in a browser. Back at the time that we talked about it, it was the 0.1.0 release, which was like the first public release of what they've been working on so far at the Sprightly Institute. And things did work. They worked well enough that I was able to write an entry to the Autumn Lisp Game Jam with Hoot 0.1.0. But there was something pretty big that was missing, which is the ability to call JavaScript functions from inside of your scheme code. So Hoot 0.2.0 is a new release that includes that functionality, the ability to set up a foreign function interface into the host environment, which in this case is JavaScript. And also another really important thing, which is record types, because that's something that's going to be missing if you need to write more than, the most basic code, I guess. I mean, I guess you could use A-lists all day, but nobody really wants to do that. So if you check out the 0.2.0 blog post at the Sprightly Institute website, you can see more information about all the new things that have been added, FFI. Nearly all of R7RS Small has been implemented, which is great because that means that you can basically write real scheme code at this point. And user-defined record types and all the information about the new library functions that have been added are in here now, which is really useful. And more things that are happening with the toolchain. Also worth noting that Google Chrome 1.19 has been released, which actually has all the functionality needed to run Guile Hoot programs in the browser. So that's a stable release of Google Chrome now. And also, excuse me, Firefox 120 was released. It has WASM-GC, but it doesn't have the tail call optimization yet, but I think it will happen. This says December 19th. So by the end of the year, both Firefox and Chrome will be capable of running Guile Hoot code in a stable version of the browser, of both of the browsers, which is awesome because it means now you can actually start using Guile Hoot to start building real applications, especially because a foreign function interface has been added. Now, what was it? Maybe 2 weeks ago, I did another stream for Flux Harmonic, where I tried to start converting the Cybersol, the solitaire game I wrote for the Autumn Lisp Game Jam. I started converting that code to use the foreign function interface, and I did make some progress with it. I was able to start rendering basically some things with it, but I didn't make a lot of progress because it was only 2 hours that I had. So I would love to go back to finish that. I don't know if I'll have time soon, but it is possible now to write full applications. Now, the thing, is my mic peaking completely the whole time? Because I'm seeing a lot of red lines on my audio interface. Let me just tune that down a little bit. So, one of the really cool things that came along with this release is a blog post by Dave Thompson, who's here in the chat today. And I see Dave chatting. I'll respond to you in a second. About building interactive web pages with Guile Hoot. So, what this means is that now that we have the ability to do a foreign function interface with Guile Hoot, basically calling it a JavaScript functions, you can start implementing web apps with Guile Hoot. And what Dave does in this article is basically re-implement something like React.js in Scheme, but you're not using React.js, you're using pure scheme code to do this, calling directly into the DOM API of the browser, and using S expressions or scheme syntax to define the elements in the web page. So if you've ever heard of SXML, that is a, excuse me, kind of like a pattern for taking scheme code that looks like this, basically looks like HTML with parentheses, and then turning that into the XML form of the same representation. But the cool thing about that is you get templating for free if you're doing web development. So because of the ability of the language to do backticks, which is basically templated sections of code where you can evaluate expressions inside of it, now you have the ability to basically make a whole web application with abstractions for all of your UI components using Scheme and only Scheme. Basically, you're calling in the JavaScript, but it's really Scheme code. So anyway, I'm super excited about that because it means now that Hoot 0.2.0 is out, the community around Hoot can start building actual libraries to make it easy for Scheme programmers to make full single-page web apps, or even normal multi-page web apps if you want to, and do game development in the browser. So if you're interested at all in Scheme development and you want a way to write Scheme code that can reach people by running it in the browser, definitely check out the latest release of Hoot 0.2.0 because it is pretty exciting. I think that once we get to 0.3, 0.4, things are going to get really interesting because maybe the ecosystem will start growing a bit more. We'll get full module support. I know that's not in this release, but I see some of the milestone changes on the issues on the GitLab repo, and I'm thinking it's going to come in a near future release. So that's pretty cool. So keep an eye on that project. Big deal, in my opinion. Let me check the chat real quick. Dave says, thanks for the shout out, or should I say hoot out? Let's see. Gunn says, just started with Little Schemer, a funny format for a book. Yeah, all the little books are good books. Let's see, what else am I missing here? Dave says, Hoot, what the heck is that? Yeah, it's basically what you work on all day, every day. All right. All right, lastly, sad news that just came out this week on the matrix.org blog. The Matrix bridge to LibreChat is done. They fully canceled it now. They said they're not able to bring it back online. The reality is this, trying to provide a stable, reliable bridge in the way that they did is kind of a massive undertaking, because it wasn't just that they had one server that sort of bridged users across with one connection. They had one server that created one IRC connection per every user who joined a Matrix channel that's bridged to IRC. So if you have 500 users that join the hash Emacs channel that's bridged over to LibreChat Emacs, you're gonna have 500 IRC connections going over to LibreChat. Multiply that by the number of possible open source communities who have Matrix to IRC bridges set up, and you can kind of imagine how many connections, persistent connections, that server needs to have running at all times. It was kind of a recipe for disaster anyway. It's better to sort of democratize that or decentralize it and let individual communities run their own bridges. But the kind of bridge that was being run, which is this Matrix app service bridge that is produced by the Matrix Foundation, or at least it was, you have to be an admin on the Matrix server to actually set that up. So it's not really doable for communities like ours to set up an equivalent bridge on matrix.org channels to get the LibreChat bridge back working again. So you can read this article to get more information about what happened there. But I've been looking into this for a few weeks, and my conclusion is that I'm just going to give up on Matrix for now. Now, the Matrix channels still exist right now for the System Crafters community. They may not exist in the very near future. If I do shut those down, I will let people know. Why would I bother shutting them down? Well, because if most people are hanging out in IRC, then I don't want people to be in the matrix feeling left out or feeling like, where is everybody, you know? So I think that the best approach really is to just double down on IRC and then try to make the experience better for the folks who are not so used to IRC or maybe more used to things like Discord or Matrix, etc. That's something that's going to be an ongoing project in the near future. I've got some ideas in mind. Maybe some of this new Hoot stuff could be useful for that. Who knows? But I feel like the best solution for our community is to stick with the protocol that is the most hackable, the most craftable, the most accessible by anyone, even though it does have its limitations, like not having, channel back buffer if you join the channel late, you don't have access to the history of the channel. We may start logging the main System Crafters channel. We'll think about that a little bit. There's ways to deal with these problems. One of them would be to provide a bouncer for the community so that anybody who wants to use a bouncer like Soju or maybe ZNC, but I'm thinking it would probably be Soju because it's newer and simpler. Just to provide that as a service to the community so anybody can use that if they want to use an IRC client like any of them that are in Emacs, like ERC, RCRC, Circe, or provide a better graphical client on the web or through mobile apps or whatever so that people can have a more user-friendly experience if you want that, or if you want to have IRC on the go and you don't really want to do a lot of work to set that up. So that will be a continuing project. If anybody's interested in helping with that, some of you have been helping. I know Benoit's helped a lot with some investigations on that, and I really appreciate Benoit's help. But that's sort of where my mind is going now. Let's just forget about all the complicated bridging and everything, and let's just focus on one platform so that everybody can be a part of the same conversation and not be left out, because that's not what we're about. We want everybody to be included. We want everybody to be in one place so that we can all have fun talking and basically distracting each other all day. Let's see. Oh, hello to Christine, who joined the chat. Nice to see you. Let's see. Dave says, I wasn't expecting the bridge to come back, but at least they confirmed it instead of leaving everyone in limbo. Yeah, I was not expecting it to come back either. But since that actually got announced this week, I kind of want to respond to that announcement as well, because I feel like it's unfortunate. People kind of invested a lot bringing their communities to Matrix because of the bridge. I know there's other communities. I think I saw some stuff about like the Fedora, can't speak. The Fedora community has a similar problem where they have the split between Matrix and IRC and they don't know what to do about it. I'm sure a lot of communities are having this problem right now. I think that Dave says in the chat, and Christine says in the chat that they have the same problem with the Sprightly chat. Yeah, this is really unfortunate. A lot of people started moving over to Matrix, I think, recently, and Ashra says it's Fedora. Yeah, it's not. But yeah, a lot of people have this problem, and I kind of feel like, unfortunately, this is going to drive more communities back to IRC. But the good thing is maybe people will find ways to make IRC better for the more modern user or the more modern community member who is used to things like Discord or Slack, etc. There's a missed opportunity, I think, in providing a really nice user interface for IRC. The lounge that we talked about a couple weeks back is a pretty good solution for that. I think that one could go further and make something that's IRC native, but also has extra functionality that could also be accessed from IRC. I got some ideas on that, but I don't really have the time to execute them. So if anybody's interested in maybe contributing to something like that, I could probably point you in the right direction. Ashra says, and there should be a big banner warning this IRC is logged. Yes, if we log the main channel, if we start logging the main System Crafters channel, I think what I would do is make the main channel be the one where people come to ask questions and get help, and then have a separate like lounge channel or off-topic channel where people can talk about whatever, and that one would not be logged. Because I don't really like it for people to feel like they can't just like chat openly and have fun if there's going to be a log on the channel. But for people asking questions and getting help, having a log for that could be helpful, I think. Christine says, I think the biggest thing is that most people check chat messages on their phone these days, and IRC isn't great for that. Yeah, it's not great. I use Revolution IRC on Android, and if you have it hooked up to a bouncer, it's not too bad. Now, I've been having problems with Soju. Revolution doesn't seem to work very well with Soju for some reason, but maybe that's a problem that could be fixed. Christine says, I think there's another thing. The future of Matrix feels a lot less certain to me. You know, we talked about that too, maybe the last time. I understand what they're doing with like forking and trying to build like the Element brand and build things under the Element umbrella, but it definitely does raise questions for a lot of people. So I think Matrix may start moving more in the direction of enterprise chat and not so much for like free software, open source community chat, which is fine because IRC is fine. Dave says, we need something that isn't IRC, but Matrix just doesn't seem to be it. Yeah, and XMPP doesn't either. It's not so great for group chats, in my opinion. I did a lot of research on XMPP. It's great for one-on-one chat. They do have group conversation rooms, but there's no way to really set it up so that you have like a coherent community experience. If you only have a single channel for your community, it's not so bad. You can just send somebody the link to your channel and you're done. But if you have a community that has multiple channels like this one, or at least the way that I kind of like to run it, it's not so good. JFred says, Goblin Chat IRC Bouncer. Well, it's certainly possible. Gunn says, the general system crafter's room on Matrix is almost deserted. Yeah, most people have jumped over. Some other people may not know yet. I haven't made like a full announcement yet about what I plan to do on like the website and like gone to announce to people in Matrix yet, just because I still like, I was holding out hope there would be like a last second solution, but I'm getting more to the point where I don't think there will be. Christine says, a new Hoot-based front end for an IRC bouncer? Yes, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Summer says, I never chat openly. I always ask serious questions. You guys know that. No, but you do keep the conversation going. Gunn says, Teams replacement? Yeah, let's also using Microsoft Teams for community chat. That'd be a lot of fun. Summer says, Matrix was a good experiment, though. Yeah, I mean, that's what's so disappointing about it is that Matrix was nice. You know, Emmet.el and Emacs is pretty nice as a client. And the Element mobile app was pretty nice, you know, nice user experience. There's a lot of other really nice web-based clients for Matrix. But I don't know, like, I feel like it's not dependable as a protocol and as a platform. Christine says, I've been thinking we should have an IRC bot as a demo, writing one. Yeah, you could definitely do that. Obviously, let's move to SMTP, you know? Possible. No user here says, Teams would be perfect for streams, and you could finally force all the watchers to switch on their webcams. Well, let's not do that. Nobody would come back. All right. So that was a long update section, but there's, like I said, there's a lot of good stuff to talk about, you know, like definitely check out the Emacs Conf this weekend. And if you are Scheme inclined or Scheme curious, check out the new Hoot 0.2.0 release because it's a big deal. And we should all be playing with that, giving our feedback and building on top of it to start fleshing out the community. All right. So this week, we're going to try to continue the work we were doing 2 weeks ago to host a Forgejo or Forgejo or Forgy. How do we want to call that? I don't know. I'm sorry, I'll stop making fun of the name. We'll set up a Forgejo instance with Guix, running it in a Guix container, but running it from inside of a Debian VM on a cloud provider. The whole point there being to run an experiment or an exercise to see how one could host services on the web with Guix without having to set up an entire Guix VM in a cloud provider, because today that's not very easy. You have to do some gymnastics to make it work. So if you can just launch a normal Debian 12 VM in the cloud on any cloud provider, install Guix using apt, because Guix is inside of the apt repository, then launch a container or system configuration in a container, then you should be able to host any type of service from inside that VM. And we did sort of have some success with that to some degree last week. Something about Forgejo wasn't running correctly in the container. We need to figure that problem out first. But Ashra says you can always pronounce it public Git server. Yeah, sure. But it could be anything in that case. But we're going to try to finish the job there, get it running, see it live. And then if we make it that far, which I hope we should in an hour and a half, we'll try to set up Laminar for CI. Now, I don't know how well that would go, but it's something I wanted to do. So that's sort of like a little extra thing we'll throw in if we get it working. But yeah. So last week, what we did is set up a VM. I'm using Vultr as the hosting provider for this. And I've had it running for 2 weeks, which I forgot to turn it off, but I think it only charged me 18 cents so far, so that's not too bad. But yeah, I've got this small VM, and it's set up at the domain crafter.tools. I don't know if I can still SSH into that. Let's see. SSH crafter.tools. Do I need to say root? Yeah, I probably need to say root. Okay, so we're in there. That's good. So let's get back to what we were doing. Let's see, ls. What do I have in here? Nothing. Apparently, I never got to the point of actually putting anything on the server, so that's cool. So what we had done, where was I at? Oh, you know, I must have had a folder in crafter tools. Yeah, there we go. All right, config.scm. Now it's all coming back to me. And some 80s song just started playing in my head. I'm not gonna give you that song. So what we did is define a Forgejo package in Guix, which downloads the binary release of Forgejo from the Codeberg site. Now, this is basically just a statically linked binary that you're downloading. You don't have to do anything else. It doesn't have any other extra files that come with it or anything. To run Forgejo, you literally just download the binary and execute it. It's a Go program, and apparently they statically linked it so that it has everything built into it, so you don't need to do anything special. So what this package does is just downloads this binary and uses the binary build system from the non-Guix project to install it into a folder in the GNU store on your system. And once you have that, then you can define a service configuration that uses that package definition. And what we've done here basically is define a Forgejo service type that has 3 extensions. One is the Shepherd service type, which runs the program as a service, system service. Another is creating an account for the under which the Forgejo program will be run, so you're not running it as root or as any other user. And then the activation service type, which sets up the permissions, I think, for the server path so that the Forgejo user can write out files to this location on the hard drive. So that's as far as we got. I think the problem we had was that we were running the service, but it kept crashing in the beginning, and I don't know why. Because if you just launch the program, it runs, everything's fine, but if you try to run it in a container, it doesn't run anymore. Now, it may just be that I'm missing some dependency. I should probably check it out, but no, we'll get to that. All right, so let's see. Yeah, Ashra says, weren't we trying to work on the stuff on your own machine first? Yes, we're going to do that. E9 is the first one who's mentioned the font change this week. This is, let's pull it up in the thing. Crafter Sans, not yet. Iosevka SS08. I was just kind of like cruising through all the available fonts in Guix this week, and I picked this one. And I like it. It's pretty nice. It's a little bit narrow on the width, but it's cool. All right, just double checking the stream, make sure everything's good. Okay, so let's try to run the container again locally and make sure that, well, make sure it's still broken. So let's see, what was I doing before? I must have had the command line that I was running. In fact, it should still be in vterm. So Guix system container, there we go. I need to run, okay. So we got the container running locally. I think we need to check if localhost 3000, whoa, localhost 3000 is running. Yeah, so nothing there. And what were we doing? Ashraz is doxing my config changes. That's good though. So, all right. Theo Peckley says, I changed from Iosefka to Cascadia code, and I like it a lot. I haven't really tried that one. All right. So the way we were investigating this before is we were jumping into the container using the Guix container command. Ashra says, I wouldn't call that doxing. I would call it hyper-researching. Yes. Well, that is what you are good at, for sure. All right. Let's jump into the container. Okay. And herd status. Yeah, so Forgejo is stopped. Herd, what was it? We were looking at var log, syslog. Or was it? No. What is syscontrol? Okay. Okay. Now it's coming back to me. So, failed to get home directory. Cannot get home directory. Yes, it's this load SSH from failed to get home directories. All December 1st. It seems to have tried to start it a few times and it kept crashing for that reason. Cool. Yeah, I could use eat for sure. I just I'm comfortable with vterm right now, and I don't want to have key binding issues with my fingers. So, we're going to use vterm for the moment. Cool. All right, so what was the conclusion we came to about this? It said it can't get the home directory. What if I run? We may have tried this already. I've forgotten already. So if anybody can remind me. So we were using su, I think. So su help. No password entry for the user Forgejo. So I can't actually, okay, I guess I can't make it a login shell. Hey, Fade. Option requires an argument, -s. Okay, sure, whatever, I don't care. Okay, so it still says ready to use su s bin bash I. Yes. Because the installation guide said it to use git as a user. Oh, right. Right, is that what I did? Okay, git is the user. Thanks, Ashras, for reminding me of that. Obviously, I am fully unprepared this week. Okay, so Forgejo. So running it this way works. All right, so that's a clue. So we're running as the git user. Well, in theory. That's not what I wanted to do. Come on. Can I not press up? What the hell, dude? Control L? No. Hey, okay. Where are my keys? All right, I've totally broken this terminal apparently. I'm very confused. Let's do that again. All right, so this time, su-c, was that right? Su-git dash. How do I get the current, oh, user. Okay, so I am running as the git user. We should discuss that, Jeff. Let's talk about it a little bit. Ashra says, check your environment without the additional dash. The home variable might not be set. Echo home. Yeah, good point. Some applications, unfortunately, only use home instead of getting the user directory. Forgejo might be one of them. Good point. And it seems like that could be the case. Let's see. Ashra says, without the additional... Okay. Su-git. Still there. All right, let's take a look at our config again, because obviously something is preventing this from working when it should work. So we're creating a user account named Git and a group named Git, putting Git in the Git group. We're giving it a home directory, which we shouldn't have to because I think it should do that by default. We also took out the no login. We probably should have no login because you don't want anybody using that account. I guess the question is, excuse me, is Shepard running it under that account correctly? And the answer may be no. Forgejo configuration user. So, okay, all right. I remember that too. The home directory exists. Good question. It should. Yeah, it's there. All right. So it does exist. There's a bash history. Ashra says Kua mode or bust. Yeah, I know you're not serious about that. But if you are serious, I don't judge you. Jeff says bust. Yes, indeed. Okay. Yeah, we're not using Microsoft Word here. This Emacs. Fade says, boy howdy, I'm slow on the hop today. Sounds like you also must have stopped by the saloon and drank a nice sarsaparilla before you came here. All right. So why isn't it working? I wanted to look at the configuration file. How was I doing that? Some are speaking in hieroglyphics, but somehow Jeff understands. Okay. So we have the current system. I suppose I could just look into that, shouldn't I? Let's take a look. I think that's the profile path. So ls. All right. Now I have to remind myself what it is I'm looking for. The brain has not fully logged in today. Actually, I want... I'm looking for the generated configuration file for the Shepard service. Because I need to see what user or how it's invoking the Forgejo configuration user. Yeah. this line. So I need to see the output of that. Oh, wait, what's going on here? Oh, that's right. Okay. Oh, now I understand. I'm also a little bit slow on the hop today. Ashra says, is there something similar to system control cat and shepherd? I don't think so. The thing I don't like about shepherd is that the command line interface is a little inscrutable. And by that I mean, it doesn't really tell you much. Doesn't tell you what actions are available. So herd status Forgejo tells me that, but I don't think there's like, excuse me, a herd log. Yeah, there's no action log. Maybe there is if I do something differently. I don't know. Yeah, we probably don't have that in the system profile, Jeff. Ashra says, so the actions depend on the definition of the service. I think so. I think that's how it works, which is why I can't give you definitively. Imro says, are you sure herd has started the container? Oh yeah, it's definitely started because you can see other things running. So there are other things running in the container. So yeah, so we did look at var log messages. That's how we could see that the home folder is not accessible to Forgejo for some reason. I think I found in the code where that happens last time, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I had found an issue where it's being talked about. So, okay. Let's go back to the config. There was an environment variable setup. That's okay, redacted. If I fake setting home on this service configuration, which I shouldn't have to do, but obviously something's not working, then maybe it could work. Shepherd. Let's go to info mode, all right? Okay, and then services, environment. I had all of the key bindings figured out for for info last week, and now I've totally lost them. Yeah, I know. I don't remember how I was getting to that. I think maybe if okay, here's what we'll do. I'm jumping back and forth a little bit. Let's make a little error here. Let's do it the wrong way. Oh, the other thing was that for some reason I can't control C out of the container. Oh, okay, good. Today it worked. Thank God. Your Guix installation is 41 days old. Thank you. It's not really. Okay, so I think I saw right there the Shepherd Forgejo. Hey, I need to copy this line. Thank you. VFD. All right. So this is the file I want. I'm quite sure. No, that's a derivation file, but it will tell me where to get the other one. That one. Okay. Yeah, that I did on purpose. User get group get. So that should be right, right? Ah, yes, pre-scheme. I saw that. Yeah, Christine. I am excited about the revival of pre-scheme. I know Andrew's been working on it for a while, but I would much rather write pre-scheme than C if I could do that. I admit I haven't actually tried it yet. But yes, prescheme.org is a place to go check that out. In fact, I'll just pull that out real quick so people can see that it exists. If you don't know what pre-scheme is, it's effectively a dialect of scheme that is for quote unquote systems programming or low level programming akin to C or other languages like Rust, etc. It is statically typed, which is a bit different than normal Scheme, which is not statically typed. It's strongly typed, but not statically typed. But if you want to write low level, high performance code with Scheme, then you could potentially use this. So go check it out. Is pre-Scheme in Guix? Yes, pre-Scheme is in Guix. All right, so maybe we need a Scheme stream soon to try that out. I don't know if that's the actual Scheme 48 or if it's the updated versions that have been worked on. 1.9, no. Roadmap. Anyway, I read this page last night. I'm pretty excited about it because I think if you have pre-Scheme, then you could write an actual Scheme compiler in pre-Scheme and have a whole, nice little Scheme environment. Gun says Scheme and angle brackets. No, don't want that. All right. Let's see. So we verified that the user and group are both set to Git as they're supposed to be. In theory, this should work correctly for make fork exec constructor. Right? A post Scheme compiler in pre Scheme. Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. All right. I want to go back to info. Service examples. Yeah, I want to see some code. Hey, all right. So index is better. Fork. Wait, what? There we go. What? Okay, here it is. Make fork exec constructor. User F, group F. Okay, sets current user to user and current group to group unless they are F. Now, is it a string? Is it a number? There's also environment variables. I don't know what's in default environment variables. Ashra says, can you use a custom shell script as a binary instead of Forgejo? That way you could use a trivial script. Well, that's true. Summer says, I want to see some coding hootenanny. I don't think that word gets used enough. All right. Okay, this parameter. Oh, okay, it's a parameter. Specifies the default list of environment variables to be defined with the procedures above, blah, blah, blah. Must be a list of strings where each string has the format name equals value. So it's not an A list, it's just a list of strings. It defaults to what environ returns when the program starts. So if I were to call environ and then const the new thing on top of that, then that should be enough, but that's not gonna work though. All right, let's just do it this way. I don't know if this is the answer, but what's the key? Oh, Control O. Okay. Okay, environment dash variables. Environment dash variables. List. Home. Once again, I keep forgetting to take Copilot out of this configuration. Okay, so that should fix that in theory. Let me just go back and fix this config here as well. And now I'll rerun this. Ashra says it may be a string. Okay, good to know. All right. So now let's use this command once again to get back into the container. What's happening? Did it really not copy that line? Please insert. Please insert. Why can't I paste? What is happening? Good God, are you gonna make me type this out? I don't want to type. All right. Here we go. Finally. All right, so what am I doing? I'm looking at var log messages. Excuse me. Okay, this time it seems to have bash not on the current path. Oh, is that? I feel like I saw that before. Okay, we got further this time. So setting the environment variable worked. Now, the fact that I'm seeing it complain about bash not being on the path makes me very suspicious that it's trying to call bash to get the value of the home environment variable or something weird like that. Ashra says broken environment variables. No, apparently I need to put bash as a dependency of, well, not the package, but the service, right? Let's call it a dependency. Excuse me, a dependency of the package. It's a propagated dependency. Bash. I don't like that, but maybe that's what's needed. Go. Thank you. You know what? I bet that the reason why I'm losing my terminal in here is because I keep killing the container without exiting that process first. All right, here we go. Lovely. Okay, so this time, let's go take a look at the... This is why I don't like working with vterm, is that I end up tripping over things the whole time. So I guess I should have been using eat this whole time, right? Okay, here we go. We're not copying and pasting very effectively here, are we? All right, so cat var log messages. So it's get executable not found in path. Well, it's there, right? Pretty sure I added it. And it's also complaining about bash again. So Ashra says, so is it, if it's a dependency of the service and the service will have that path? Well, actually, that's a good point. Am I going to have to make a wrapper? I think I'm going to have to make a wrapper, like Ashra's suggested, but for a different reason. And the reason why is because I need to add git and bash to the path for the program. Best way to do that is to have a wrapper script where I can pull in the store paths of both those programs and add them in. Question is, should I do that for the service? All right. Let's think about this for a second. Gun says, is there any security constraint enforcing restricted environments like in sudo? I don't know. All right, looking at the config one more time. Clearly adding git lfs, and bash as propagated inputs is not enough. You would think it is, though, because a propagated input, I think, is supposed to show up in the profile. So in theory, it should be in path. So well, let's find out. Let's find out, shall we? Echo path. Set UID programs, config Guix. All right, it will be in ls run current system profile bin. What just happened? There we go. I see git and I see bash. All right, so if I say su git echo path, I don't know what's happening. Maybe the fact that it can't find bash is the problem. Because it has them. If I run git, if I run bash, both of those work. Didn't we override the path? No. Whoa. Oh. Haha. Yeah, you might be right. Ashraz is correct, I think. So what Ashraz said is that because we set environment variables here and we replaced the entire default list with just this home equals home git, we will run into a problem where the service, when the service tries to launch the executable, the path will be wiped, I think. So a hacky way to solve this problem would be to copy this, which is, you shouldn't do this. I'm just doing it to verify that this is the problem, and then we can, make some forward progress. Ashra says, can we const a new entry into the default environment? I don't know. Can I run that as a G expression? If I can, that'd be nice, but I think I might need some extra stuff here to make that happen. Like to import the module, and I'm not really prepared to do that at the moment. So let's try this first. Okay, this time, once again, I destroyed the terminal. And it is 11.815. I think it started. Kudos to Ashraz for the diagnosis. It's not 300. This is not Sparta. Oh. So do I really need to go like... Okay, there it is. It's running from the container. But also in a very hacky way, which is not good. But it does work for the purpose of making this work. And there's nothing there, which is expected because it's not supposed to be there yet. So now that we figured that out, what is the real solution so that we don't have to play games anymore to make this work? The fact that there's no home variable in the environment variables. To start with, is kind of interesting. I don't think that the user configuration for the system has any impact on this. Ashraz says, I missed the fix. The fix was to add, the fix, or wasn't the fix, it was the problem. Painless? I don't think anybody said painless. So the, excuse me. The path was being cleared by setting environment variables here, which is what you had posited, and it turns out that was the case. Once I put path back in, bash was accessible. So the combination of setting the home path environment variable and the path environment variable made Forgejo run. So the core issue is that for some reason home git is not there. We need to set it in a way that doesn't clear off path. I would expect that this would already be set, but maybe it's not. I wonder if the info has to say anything about this. The homepage of the website did? Oh, okay. I get the joke now. That is funny. Yes, it wasn't so, well, it's painless if you're not doing it the way that I'm doing it. It's certainly painless if you just launch the executable in a computer that's not a container that uses a functional package manager and container manager. Home, environment, user. So the concept index is not helping us at all. I guess we do need make fork exec. Let's go to the config. Modules. Use modules. Okay, so we do need something like this, I think, unfortunately. Because we need to pull in the shepherd module. I wonder if that's the thing that people do. Oh no, that's a Guile thing. Maybe that's actually not needed. Let's try this. Let's try this. So I'm gonna cons home get onto. Yes, it is running as that. It's running as a Git user for sure. So environ is what I want. Oh, crap. But I don't know if it's going to work like that. Nah, we can't just do a straight append because I need to make sure that this is actually going to be executed. But maybe it will. Because that's a list right there, so maybe all this will be executed. So let's just try it. I'm just going to try calling environ. Let's see, Guile environ. I don't know what the... is that in a module or is it just in the global environment? Oh. I don't know if that's the same thing. Let's try it. Let's just run it and see what happens. It may fail. Exit, please. Thank you. Environ needs to be called at the system service start time. That's a good point. So this is not right then. Yeah, that's not right. Not right at all, in fact. I mean, it might work by accident, but it's not right. What was the PID? 12370. All right. Okay, yeah, it didn't work. And if I were to look at the come on, man. I feel like that this is not the right. Okay, so it is calling environ there, but clearly it's not doing the right thing. I still feel like we're missing something. Summer says, I love how we get his Greek Google suggestions. Yeah, they're just, you know, IP checking me. I wonder if the system T somehow has something to do with it. Let's look at the Guix manual. Or there must be a way to find out. Let's see, Guix. What was the thing I wanted to do? .scm. Excuse me. Let's see. Okay. System accounts, activation. That sounds like it might be the right thing. Also, shadow. Excuse me. All right, it's got to be one of these. Let's export this list. I don't know why I get results twice. Something weird about my console config. Home directories of non-system accounts are created by activate user home. So activate user home. Let's see, directory exists. We're creating the home folder, copying account skeletons. All right. Excuse me. Well, let's try that, actually. It's not the right thing to do, but we're going to try it anyway. Where's the config? Get out of the way. Let's remove system here. I don't know if we need to tell it that it's not a system group either. Excuse me, folks. Excuse me. So, what I'm trying to do right now, I need some brandy. No, I need this Hall's cough drop to kick in. So we're trying to see if setting up the user as not a system user has any effect on it. In fact, let's take this whole thing out. Oh yeah, we're not gonna get any sauced up streams here. Ashra says the Guix source code contains a laminar surface definition within. Yeah, I think it does. Sage drop, that would probably work. This menthol cough drop is helping already. Okay. So now I'll go back and run that config one more time to make sure none of our hacky stuff is in here. Clearly that did not help because the server is not running. $13,202 is the PID. Same original problem. No home directory. All right. What is Jefferson's Ocean? Never heard of that. Hot toddy. I'll just have a nice Johnny Walker Black Label after all this is done. No ice, no water. Just whiskey. That's not a plug. If Johnny Walker wants to sponsor me, sounds good to me, but I don't think that's going to happen. Whiskey aged in barrel at sea. Okay. That sounds salty. Don't drink blended. Hey, you know, Black Label's pretty good for a blend. Lafroig is good. Super smoky, though. It'll kill you with the smoke. Lagavulin very nice. Lafroig kills SARS-CoV-2. Yeah, I would think so. Because that thing is basically like drinking a chimney. All right. We need some Guix service authoring experience up in here. Someone has to come solve my problem for me because I'm too small-brained to do it right now. Redacted says, which user does environment run when the service starts? I think that that's being run by the build daemon at the time that the service configuration is being written out, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe it is being run at the time that the service gets started. But then that would be run by Shepard and not by the user. Ashra said, yeah, you need Lafroig with the sherry oak finish. I had some Black Label that was done in sherry barrels, but it did make a big difference. Well, here we are, an hour into actually trying to do this again, and we're still stuck on the same problem. I mean, we solved the problem, but we didn't solve the... we solved the symptom. We didn't solve the underlying problem. Redacted is helping out here. We need that the get user's environment, which includes the right home. Yes, we do. Not the build daemon. That's right. Ashra says we probably should cut our losses and add a wrapper script. Yeah, but that also has its own little bit of pain. But maybe not. Let's try it. Let's try it. Excuse me. So what I want to do, we have Forgejo bin and Forgejo config. Thanks, Summer. Catch you later. So we need a wrapper script. Yeah, we can generate it right here in this Shepherd service. So we don't need anything special for that. So this could be a mixed file. Yeah, mixed text file. Oh, actually, no. So I'm gonna go. Excuse me. I want to go to the top. All right. Is that right? CHR? Ah, thank you. Excuse me. So now I have to pop the stack and remember what I was doing. Yes. Okay. There's some other thing. Text file, profile.sh. Return the name of a shell script in the store that initializes path from the environment variable. That sounds familiar, right? Is that good enough, though? I think there's one for scripts. But that's not a script, that's a Guile program. Doesn't tell you how to make this executable, though. Let's see. We're getting a suggestion from Imro. So, excuse me. Services, IRSI, line number 71. User home. Where's that coming from? But still. Okay, so you are calling environ there, I see. But does that work though? Because, oh. Does that work? Like, if you tell it that you want to run it as a particular user, does it run this code as that user to get the environment variables? Because it seems like I wouldn't expect it to, honestly. And because we were putting home here, remove. Whoa, what did I do? We're calling remove to take the existing home out. So we're replacing the home variable that's in the that's in the current shepherd process. Yeah, it's okay. So we're sort of like hacking that in. That's one way to do it. I don't think it's a whole lot better. It does solve one of the other problems, but I wish it worked right. So if we were to generate a wrapper script, then what it would do is set home and path, or we would set path using the path variable that already exists. We would append to the beginning of it. Ah, okay. Ashraz makes a good point. So because we didn't do the remove, that's the reason why we ended up with a problem when we used environ. Okay. Well, you know, that's probably good enough. Let's go with that for now because it's not terrible. So make fork exec. We'll do this. We're going to const home. Excuse me. We're not going to hard code this. Or we can do format. And I need to unquote that. So we're formatting home. I guess I should just do a string append, huh? Ashraz makes another good point. Instead of doing a remove, we could potentially add it at the end. So we could try that. And we'll take this this off. All right. Let's check it out. That low. Wait. There we go. So let's put that at the end of the list. Now we can try it again. Hopefully this time it works so we can move on to actually getting this thing working. Because we're still not all the way there. There's one other thing that needs to be automated. What? Oh, we must have a syntax error. Well. Source expression failed to match any pattern. What did I miss? Okay, so what do you think it is? Something else is broken. Oh. I didn't finish that bind. All right. This time it's doing something. Still not up and running. Let's go back into vterm. A65. And cat var log messages. Get executable file not found in path. Okay, same problem as before. So the home might be fine, but path is not being set. Fade says if you set the path and etc. profile for every user, won't it just work? Not in this case. Guix does things a different way. The bigger problem we have is that path is not being set correctly for the service. I'm trying to think. What am I missing here? Bash should work the same on any platform. Well, the thing is it can't get to Bash. As you can see in the the log, can't find Bash on the path because we're not to path yet. It's because the Shepherd service is not being executed with the right environment variables set up. What if you use the default environment variables var instead of environ? Actually, it's a good idea. But that might require pulling in Shepherd, right? I would need access. Well, I suppose it must be there. Well, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Come on. Let's try it again. Oh. Redacted. Redacted wins this round of David scratches his head and hopes somebody answers the question in chat. The default environment variables var within the shepherd.scm is a very simple path only, is it not? Apparently it worked somehow. Interesting. So let's check the output of the logs. I'm kind of curious to see what it says this time. I mean, if that works, that's okay. That's more or less acceptable. I'm okay with this. Redacta says that it gets set to environ according to the docs. All right, so I want to pull up vterm again for the 15 millionth time. Restart it because I keep losing it. Hey, what did I do? cat var log messages. Okay, I think it's good. Let me just double check the logs and see. App path, blah, 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 blah. Rewrite SSH public keys. All right. So that worked. Register. Let's just create a little account. Come on now. Foo. Connection's not secure. I don't care. Ah. Foo. Okay, so we have an account. Sign in. What? It didn't let me sign in? What happened? What's that? There's no complaint here. Is there like a cookie that's missing or something? Excuse me. How did it get my profile picture? Must be Gravatar. So I can't log in. That's cool. Okay, whatever. One thing I wanted to try. What if I take out some of this stuff, like these security tokens and whatnot? Well, that's probably not safe. This is one thing that bothers me a little bit. There are tokens for something, JOT secrets, etc., for securing this instance, which are stored in the configuration file. They get generated the first time that you start up Forgejo. But we can't do that with Guix. So either we have to fake it somehow. I don't really know if that's possible. Whatever, dude. Sue, get. Huh? To generate self-signed certificate, what is generators? What the hell? Oh, generate. Generate a secret token. Let's take a look at that. Forgejo docs. Administrator guide. Token security. Token. Can be used to give a Forgejo a path to a file that contains the internal token. Cool. See ya, Ashraz. CLI. Generate a new token for a runner. Okay. Okay. Is that a command line argument? Okay, cool. So you can use command line arguments for that. Gun says sequel next week, logging into Forgejo. I don't know if we're going to do this again. It hasn't been very successful, and I don't want to bore people to death. If people tell me in the comments they want to see me continue this, I might do it. But maybe we should do something else. If I was streaming for like, let's say 4 or 5 hours, and we could make progress and get something done, that'd be one thing. But 2-hour stream, trying to figure things out from scratch without having everything perfectly prepared, can't really drag that out across multiple weeks. All right. So it is possible to generate these keys. All right, so command options, arguments. Hey, G-Man, nice to see you. I did post a YouTube stream to the Forgejo dev chat since there may be some rough edges. Well, that the home variable not existing is kind of a weird thing, but I could see how it's easy to assume that the home environment variable would be set. Path is a Guix thing. That's something that had to be fixed on the Guix side, but the home environment variable not being set. It would be nice if that wasn't needed, but I don't know. Generate. What was it? Secret key. What? Forgejo is homeless. It refuses to be homeless. Okay. Excuse me. Oh, generate secret. Hey, there we go. All right. So I think this could be automated. Question is how? Because in a configuration, if you can run these to insert them into the configuration file, we basically have to create a script or spawn a process and then put the output into the file as the file is being generated, as the G expression is being executed. Now, that is possible. This Forgejo to configuration file actually expects to return a G expression. This mixed text file does return a G expression. And with a G expression, you could go to the level of writing out a more elaborate build setup. So you can spawn processes. I'm pretty sure. Guix build. Man. Yeah, let's go to the G expression section. Something like this. You get this G expression that has a begin. You can do things like make directory and system. That's the launch of process. You can launch Forgejo and get the output of that. Did you set the home path in Forgejo in the config? Maybe it doesn't need home if you set that. Good point. I wonder if it works. run user, home path. All right, got 10 minutes left. So what we can do is try to get this environment variable step out, and let's see if what redacted says could work. Because that will simplify things a lot. If it will respect the home path setting, which I didn't know about. To commit the working config, yeah. I will include it in the show notes. Okay, not working. Oops. 14,987. Failed to get home directory. Cannot get home directory. So I don't know. Did I do that wrong? Home path. Oh, that's for Git. What? If you can confirm Forgejo is the only application running in this environment, you can set to the normal home directory for the Forgejo user. Yeah, I think you're right. Is there already a Git section here? These are all different sections, right? This file is not very easy to use. Also, path can be set. Ooh. I wonder if that could also be set here. If it worked. Where's work path? Okay, so work path is in overall default, and that's that section. Home path. Excuse me. Okay, let's try that. What did I do? What the? I would like to type a little bit here, if you don't mind. Lispy. I just want to put a square bracket in the code. I mean, for God's sake. Git. There we go. Man, dude. Lispy mode. Go away. Did it again. Thank you. Let me edit like a normal human being. Par edit is the best bet, maybe. Okay. Excuse me. I'm sorry for that. The fact that there's also a path could be useful, but maybe let's not do that. Let's just go with this for now. We'll try it one more time. This is a better solution, I think, if it works. Still didn't work. That's unfortunate. It could have worked. We'll leave it there anyway. All right, let's put that back in. All right, so the place where we are at right now. Yeah, I know. I might be doing it wrong. I don't know. The place where we are at is that it's possible to generate these tokens. So we need to use a more elaborate G expression, something like this one here. Why has it got a plus sign? It doesn't seem right. So what I would do I need the Forgejo package. Got something for that. Right there, right there. Another similar thing. System. All right. Do a little let star here. And bin. We don't need to do that. Then that would just be and once you have that, then basically you could just insert that into the configuration. I mean, I don't know if you can call into mixed text file, etc. from inside of a G expression. It'd be nice if you could. There must be another way to do that. Oh, I bet it's like with output from file or something. You have to have to write a file out. There's got to be a way to do that. But I don't know it at the moment. All right. Sorry for all that. And this is the end of the let. And here I would say write out the entire configuration file, inserting the generated tokens. But I guess the problem is if you rerun the configuration, it needs to have a consistent token file. And I don't know if that's something that the person deploying the service should have already set up and could import it into the service, because if you change the internal tokens, I don't know if that's going to make things in the database undecryptable anymore, then you are locked out of your database. So that's a little bit risky. But yeah, so the conclusion here, while it is actually possible to host Forgejo in a Guix container, coming up with a Guix service to host Forgejo in general is more complex because of the complexity of the program, sort of its requirements about how the environment needs to be set up, and also the fact that it has all these tokens that need to be generated and saved in a way where they don't get changed every time you rerun the system configuration. So I think that's where we're going to stop on this project. Personally, I would like to continue working on this, but I don't think I want to bore you on another stream trying to do this next week. So next week, we'll probably do something completely different. If you have ideas for things you would like to see on next week's stream, please feel free to let me know in the chat or in the comments or in IRC later, or email, whatever you like. And we could try to do something a little bit different next week. But if you're interested in trying to help continue writing the service definition for Forgejo, I'm going to put the code that I have so far in the show notes for this week. Link to that's in the description. Just take that up, and we can hack on it somewhere else. You can do it yourself. We can talk about it. We can put it in a repo somewhere and try to get this working, because, you know, I could foresee the possibility of us having our own community Forgejo instance at some point, maybe. Sounds like it could be fun. And, hosting with Guix would also be nice. Excuse me. Gunn says, loose end wrap up for 2023 on December 29th. Is that actually one of the possible stream dates? If I'm in town, I'll definitely do that. Let's see. December 29, 2023. Yeah, Friday. Cool. That sounds good. I don't know. What is there to wrap up, really? I mean, I don't think did I publish any videos this year? I did a bunch of streams. All right. So, yeah, that's it. Like I said, I'll put the configuration we worked on today in the show notes. So check that out if you are interested in continuing on with the work that I've done so far here. And thank you all for sitting with me and watching this, because I'm sure it wasn't very fun and interesting, but maybe we had a good time. Anyway, I had a good time. Last thing I'll say is, if you want to join the System Crafters chat, definitely jump into the IRC, because the Matrix is probably on its way out the door. You can go to systemcrafters.net/community. There is some details there. I've also put up a new IRC tips page. I don't have a lot of stuff there yet, because I just kind of threw this together in about 20 minutes. So if you want to contribute to the IRC tips page, like if you have some tips that you want to share with other people about IRC configs, go to that page on Codeberg. I have a link here, page is under construction, send a pull request. If you click that link, it sends you right to the page to edit on Codeberg. So go there if you want to help contribute to that. Dave says, I certainly couldn't get as much done on the stream like you do. Well, I didn't today, but I appreciate that. All right. Thank you all so much again. I hope you all have a great weekend. Until next time, happy hacking. We'll see you.